Today, we are going to talk about what does it take to build a character? What does that look like? We're going to take an in-depth look at building a character, all right? So first, you're going to look down, you're going to look through the script, you're going to read that script, you're going to get to know that script. You know how I'm always telling you, do not memorize the script yet. Don't memorize your lines. I want you to get familiar with it. I want you to get to know the story of what's going on. A script is like a snapshot that represents all the different emotions and values carried in one moment of time. Our society is captivated by stories, and it's our jobs as actors to convey the truth of that character, which helps the story, right? When you are acting, it's not just pretending, it's telling the truth from that character's point of view. So right now, it's your job to do the work and to discover what it is that is your character's truth. Often, the lines in the script may say one thing, but the subtext is something different. All right, in these subtexts, you can learn a lot about the character. You want to know, what are the given circumstances? What are the implied circumstances? Given circumstances are the circumstances that are written. Implied is something that's sort of in the subtext. Also, let's see, I want you to read those scenes that don't involve just your character. Maybe they'll say something about your character. Maybe there will be things that your character doesn't know about, and it will clue you in on where your character is in that series, that story and that scenario, and how does that affect your character. I want you to read and reread the script and read it again and again until you know everything that there is to know about that story, about the world that it creates, because that's the world where your character lives and breathes. And once you have the world of your character, it's going to be easier for you to understand how your piece of the puzzle in that world fits in, right? Step 2, I want you to ask questions. Ask your character questions. Once you've learned the script and you find out the facts about the players, but the facts aren't all there is. In actor, it's important to know their impulses. As humans, we have natural impulses. As an actor, it's important to know the impulses of your character. The character may be fictional and the circumstances may be made up, but your character is a real human being that you are going to bring to life. All of us have impulses. We may react in a certain way in a certain situation. I want to say, we've talked about this before in class. Example, if we are in line at Starbucks, I don't know you and you don't know me, and I step on your foot, how are you going to respond? How are you going to react? That's your impulse. As an actor playing a character, we need to know how that character would react, how that character would respond. And if that character has any filters through which they filter their behavior, like you and me, when we're in Christ, we have Jesus as our filter, and so that might look different than that someone who maybe doesn't know the love of God yet. An example,
Excuse me, Sonny. Can you please help me reach that toilet paper on the top shelf?
a believer is filled with Jesus. Their Jesus filter says, oh yeah, I'll stop what I'm doing and help you, like with that. Here you go. You need anything else, lady? The non-believer is going to be like, this toilet paper? Oh, see you later. And they take off with her toilet paper. Or another example might just be,
Oh, Sonny, will you help me with that toilet paper?
I can't hear you. So each different reaction and impulse is going to be filtered. And so it's up to you. How does that character respond in the different situations? Another example, say now, if your character sees a lion, what might they do? Will they stand their ground? Will they run away and hide? It may be different than that which you would normally do. Just like two characters in the same story or same show may have a different reaction to the same thing, or a different impulse in a play or film or show. Your character would face a number of situations, and you have to face those situations as your character and know how would they react. How do you find those impulses? Simple. Ask the questions. I want to run over what those questions are really, really quick. Just, who am I? Answer as many details about your character as you can, including name, age, address, relatives, likes, dislikes, hobbies, career, physical traits, opinion, beliefs, religion, education, origin, enemies, loved ones, etc. What time is it? Answer these questions for every scene, every moment in the scene, century, season, year, day, hour, minute. Discover the significance of time and what it means to your character. How do you relate to that? What time of day does that influence your mood? Do you love mornings? Or are you not a morning person? Like, you need to know those things about your character. Okay, where am I? What country is your character in? Neighborhood, home, room, area within a room. Is it your room? Is it your enemy's room? What is surrounding you? What are the different objects, inanimate and animate objects? Be specific. If there's a knife in the room, how does that make you feel? If there's a rubber ball in the room, how does that make you feel? And then, what are the given circumstances? All right, and remember, as an actor, that needs to be specific to your performance, and like, what are the given circumstances of the past, present, and potential future? Given circumstances, remember, as an actor, your research needs to be as specific as possible so that your performance isn't just a bunch of generalizations. Detail the past, the present, and the future so that you can play in the moment. You don't want to be thinking about that and be in your head during, or you don't want to have an emptiness going on and you're like, oh, I have no character behind my character. You need to know what circumstances might have contributed to this scene that you're in right now. What are the relationships in the scene? Define yourself in relationship to the events and the other characters and objects in each scene. What do I want? This is one of the most important questions, all right? What are your objectives? Be specific about your character's needs and immediate wants, and long term, what do they want? What is it that they want in that scene? How do they get what they want? How do I get what I want? This is what rehearsals are for. This is why I have you memorize your lines. And then we work this out. We work it out, and some really beautiful stuff happens because you know your lines and it can change things around. It's where the magic happens. This is the place where the magic happens. It's where you stay in the moment and you react and you're fresh. You're not thinking about, oh gosh, I don't know, I'm blank slate here, because you've already done the homework. You know what you want, and now we're gonna play with how to get it. How are you going to get it? And we'll play with the different tactics, all right? But you get to do that on your own right now, and that's okay. Number 3. What are the physical attributes of your character? When presented with this question of how to develop a character in acting, you might take the time to predetermine how does your character move and the physicalities and expressions and their inflections or emphasis on words. But let's say you thought about all of those things, but you never put them into practice. Doing them and actually walking it out is different than just in the head, right? I need you to experience it. You to experience it, and your character needs you to experience, and your audience needs you to experience it. So walk around in the room, feel the room, have your shoes off because it's easier to feel, and listen to the sounds. Just be. Close your eyes if you need to. Listen to your breathing. Don't change it. Listen to your breathing. Listen to the sounds. Don't try to comprehend the sounds. Just listen to the sounds. I hear trees. I hear my son's iPad. but I'm not trying to listen to what my son's watching on the iPad. I'm not trying to listen to see if the trees are making a melody. I'm just here. I'm listening. And then you're going to see, oh, I'm going to step out of that. Okay, so what is my character like? Say my character has a little, she walks hunched over a little bit. And she breathes shallow. She's a shallow breather. So I'm going to breathe probably more in my chest. Wow, she must really have a weight on her back. So you're going to feel, everything is going to feel different. Ugh, I don't want to be that character. All right. You are no longer you, but you let the character you're playing begin to take shape. What is your posture? Oh, what is your breathing like? Now walk around with a new body. Your walk is completely changed. If any new emotions are there, are generated, feel free to express it, but don't you go and manipulate it and try to make the emotions. Now it's time to wear the clothes. You're going to wear the clothes of the character. Again, these are imaginary clothes, but make sure you imagine them according to the script. However, if you have access to a real costume and that you're going to wear, go ahead and put them on. Now again, walk around. Oh, now I'm here again. With the character, my character's in a big sweater. Anything that comes to your mind. So let's not try to change the voice in a deliberate way. But if a new voice begins to take shape, go ahead and let it. If the voice isn't different in rhythm or tone, just let it be. Don't mess with it. It's going to work itself out. Once I played a pregnant lady, blah, 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 paper mache, I'm not going to edit. Okay, so now you're getting to know your character. You know their psyche. You know how they move around physically. But do you know what they do? Like, what if your character is a barista? Do you even know how to make a cup of coffee? Like, you need to know those things. If your person works in a shoe store, have you ever put a shoe on somebody else? Like, you need to know how to do those things. Maybe there's a special technique on how to get shoes on feet. Like, if you've never done it, you won't know. And so I'm not saying you should go out and do all of these things, but you need to have an idea if you're actually playing that character. If your character cuts hair, I'm not saying cut your little sister's hair. Let me just reiterate. But you need to spend some time on the occupations and the activities of your character, maybe their hobbies, and find out. List 15 things they do in their day. And master, like, say 5 of them or 3 of them, the most important ones. Incorporate them into your rehearsal. Maybe do a little film video of you performing one of those tasks, because then you get to be that person and you know their hobbies. If I'm playing a golfer and I ain't never golfed before, I'm gonna look pretty darn funny, right? And so I'm not saying you need to be a professional at it, but you do want to spend some time in your character's shoes. When analyzing scenes, list what activities your character does in real life. Now, with you, when you have a fully functioning, breathing character, it's not just pretend, but you get to paint the world from their point of view. All you have to do is now allow your character to be in the moment, in that set of given circumstances already created by the script. You do not need to pretend your emotions and expressions. All right, and now I wanted to talk about something very important. I wanted to talk about, this is unrelated to your character, but it's to do with the homework and whatnot. I wanted to talk to you about crying on cue. Are you ready? I do want to pause in, I do want to take a pause. In some of the homework assignments, I asked some of you, acting one, I asked you to go ahead and, I do want to pause for just a second, and I want to talk to you guys about crying on cue. Very important. And some of the homework assigned to acting 1, and also some of you may have already heard, to just think about something sad. It could be a past thing that happened, really hurt you. I've done that before. My aunt who died when I was 6, I pictured her pink coffin over and over till, you know what? It didn't work anymore. I mean, it could still make me cry right now, but I've thought of things that have actually haven't happened to see if that would produce or manufacture tears, like my cat dying. Can I just say no? There are 2 reasons I want you to stop right now. You don't do that, right? Okay? If you're in my class, this is what I want to tell you about that. If you're thinking about some old memory or using some false thing that hasn't happened yet to produce tears, then you are not actually in the moment. You're in your head. And then the magic doesn't happen. All right? And so it's when you're outside of your head, you're in the moment, that you have the magic. You already knew that. Okay, so number 2. We are called to think about whatever things are true, whatever things are noble, whatever things are lovely, whatever things are just, whatever things are pure, whatever things are of good rapport. That means a good report, something that's good. If there's any virtue, if there's anything praiseworthy, meditate on these things. That is what you are called to do. I once tried onions. Onions make you cry, right? Well, you know what? They just stink. And after a while, onions don't work. Instead, I want you to give this a shot. I'm going to get kind of close to the camera, so watch out. But here we go. I'm like, I can't get much closer. So I want you to just look at yourself in the mirror. It's an expression, and your face gets used to it. And you just practice this in the mirror. You don't need to think about anything sad. The sun's getting bright. But you just do that, and eventually you're going to start crying. So, what else? Oh, I also want to talk to you who are interested in film. Since we stopped and talked about crying on cue, I also want to talk to you a little bit about film. Hey, bonus round, okay? A bonus round is this. When you're blinking in film a lot, it kind of weakens your character. What you need to remember is that the camera picks up every little thing. And so if I'm really big like this, it's going to be like so much bigger. But if you're on stage, you want to be really big like this. Okay? But when you're on film, little subtleties, like everything is picked up. And so I want you, this is like extra credit, whoever does this, I want you to just have a staring contest, not the crying one, with yourself in the mirror. Practice keeping those eyes open, because you're not going to be blinking all the time, especially if you're playing a strong character. And usually you would only be blinking all the time if it was a character you were trying to portray as a little weaker. Okay? All right, guys, there's a lot of homework, and it's fun homework. So, yeah, look at that and do it. And then I have more stuff coming for you guys. I just ran out of time. All right, have a great day. Bye.